Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. In this special episode, we're going to talk about gravity and relativity. You're going to love it. Bitcoin is currently trading at $28,380. The next smart money buy level is between $27,843 and $28,038. I've shown you this chart many times before, but we're going to look at this chart very differently. We're going to look at gravity and relativity. What is gravity? When you look at Bitcoin's blue line, this is Bitcoin's price action overlaid on Ethereum. That's what I call Bitcoin's gravity. And you can see it playing out to differing effects on all the different alts. And of course USDT is Tether and USDC is Circle, two stable coins. How do we look at gravity? Basically, what we say, when Bitcoin comes down, there's a greater than 95% probability that whatever alt you're looking at will come down as well. What happened when Bitcoin goes up? There's about a 95% probability that that alt will go up as well. So how do we prove this? We actually overlay Bitcoin's gravity, this blue line, with the specific alt. This is Ethereum. We can certainly see that it's not necessarily instantaneous, but the gravity pulls it up. That's why it's called gravity, because it has lag effects. For example, if you were to get a tennis ball and just throw it up high into the air, it wouldn't come down immediately because gravity has to exert itself on it. When we look at gravitational force in physics, we're actually talking about Newtonian physics and Newton's universal law of attraction. Now we know where the secret got the law of attraction from. It got it from Newton. Sir Isaac Newton, that is. The concept is, if you throw a ball up into the air, it's not going to immediately just drop because gravity needs to take effect. So there's a time element involved. We could look at all the formulas, but they really don't make any difference to us. We're talking about the stock market, the crypto market, the forex market, the commodities market. It's slightly different, but the concept is very similar. Gravity is literally everywhere, and it's also inside financial markets. Sometimes gravity can be instantaneous, and we see that often with big sell-offs in Bitcoin. It tends to grab the gravity of other alts and just pull it down with it. And you might say, hang on a second, Ken, this stable coin that's supposed to be $1, that's kind of flicking around all over the place. And what about Circle? That's up and down and all over the place. That's true. If you think about it this way, stable coins have never been stable, but don't tell anyone. Inside the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, we talk about this. We talk about gravity extensively. And also in TM14 and TM15, we speak about stable coins not really being stable. And they're not. When I do analysis, I want to put everything up. I don't want to give you a piecemeal kind of analysis. That's not my bag. You get the whole box and dice. Stable coins can throw really interesting signals. You should be aware of that as well. Getting back to gravity, what we can see here as Bitcoin came down, what happened to Ethereum? It came down. What about BNB? As Bitcoin was coming down, it was coming down. What about XRP? Did that come down? Yes, it did. What about ADA? Did that come down? Yep. And DOGE, did that come down? Yes, sir. It came down as well. One thing to be aware of, you will get what are called news spikes. When you get a news spike, you can actually get an inverter. For example, we can see DOGE absolutely and utterly spiked up. Please let me know if you know about the news article I'm referring to about DOGE. Let me know in the comments. This is really good for your active learning. Let's look at the other way. When gravity goes up, for example, you can see this big push. Look for big pushes and big dumps. That's a big dump and that's a big push. What happened with that particular big push? we can see that Ethereum was already coming up because the gravity was moving in that direction. There was a little bit of a lag here, but it's still something. What about here with BNB? Yes, it came up. You can see XRP led the recovery. This is pretty interesting. Kind of like ETH. This is what you want to do with your pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is a critical skill. What about here with ADA? We saw ADA come up before Bitcoin. Pretty cool. What about here with DOGE? Look at this delayed reaction. DOGE actually inverted there. It could have gone up much higher, but it was suppressed. Well, then it made good on the promise of gravity. And, of course, a very interesting news story. We've seen gravity, now let's talk about relativity. And I'm not talking about uncles and aunties or cousins or anything like that. I'm talking about relative performance. We can see Bitcoin up about 14%. How did it actually marry up against Ethereum? Ethereum really underperformed Bitcoin. 7% versus Bitcoin at 14%. What about BNB? Well, we know Bitcoin is hovering around that 14% and BNB very suppressed, only about 2% up. Let's have a look at XRP. You can see XRP absolutely blitzed Bitcoin during this time. It was up, well, it's now up 37% as opposed to Bitcoin's 14%. What about ADA? How did ADA perform? Well, relatively it underperformed Bitcoin, but it was close. 12% versus about 14.5%. What about DOGE? Well, they're pretty much neck and neck right now, and DOGE just shot up to reach Bitcoin's gravitational pull. You'll learn all about this kind of stuff inside the masterclass and a whole lot more. Let's go back to gravity. When we look at gravity, we're specifically looking at how Bitcoin comes down, especially when it comes down hard, and what happens to the alts when it comes up hard. This is really important for us. We need to get directional bias. That's what gravity is about. Looking at Matic, we can see Matic actually is under accentuating Bitcoin's actions quite a lot here, but we need to look at relativity. We'll do that in a minute, but it's really fascinating to see how the gravity and the relativity come together. Masterclass students, you already know about this through Bitcoin alt gearing or BTC alt gearing. Let's have a look at Solana. We can see from a directional perspective, Solana is moving pretty much in step with Bitcoin. And you might say, Ken, you've got it wrong. Look at Solana. Solana is totally different. Okay, let's zoom in. What about that? Does it look a little bit more in sync? Yes, it does. And this is what you need to do with your charts. You need to be able to look at how Bitcoin's gravity is actually playing out. When it's up like this, you may say, oh, there's not really much of a correlation there. I don't see it. What about when it's like this? And what about when we go back? Is it there? Yes, it is. That's why we must understand gravity. Let's have a look at BUSD. What is BUSD? It's Binance coin, so it's a stable coin, so let's ignore it. What about DOT? Is that moving in directional correlation? Gravity, is it? Well, let's have a look. What do we see here? A slight difference. Well, is it? Yeah, it is. Just a slight bit of inversion happening in DOT. What does inversion mean? It means that this specific alt has got a little bit more of an opposite reaction to Bitcoin. How do you see that? How do you figure that out? Isn't that just going up when that's going up? It is. But note, the gradient of this in Bitcoin is heading down. What is that doing? It's heading up. That is inversion. You can get short-term fluctuations that invert, but just look at this gravitational pull. It's pretty precise. What about Litecoin? We've been looking a little bit at Litecoin recently. It's been quite interesting. What is the gravity playing out on Litecoin like? Let's just zoom in a little bit. So what do we see here? Oh, a little bit of inversion here. Oh, that's interesting. What else do we see? Power. underperforming, pull back into gravitational alignment. Be aware of these things. What do we see here? Basically following Bitcoin's gravity. A lot of people just say, oh, you know, my alt doesn't follow Bitcoin's gravity. It's independent of Bitcoin. We have a rule for that. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Note the word escape. Let's have a look at SHIB. How is SHIB doing? Well, it's following Bitcoin's gravity through. What about Tron? It's actually also following Bitcoin's gravity. But there was a big news article, Justin Sun getting arrested, everything going to, not too well for Justin and Tron. But have a look at this. Look there. This is when all these problems happen. What happened? Bitcoin was coming down. This is more gravitational than anything. This is a very, very powerful way of actually acid testing a lot of news headlines to see if it's real or if it's fake. If the gravity is pointing in that direction and you don't have much of an overreaction to it, because you can see that Bitcoin came down harshly during that time. Of course, Tron came down. This is a kind of a news spike, but it's really interestingly timed. Could that have been when the government was selling 10,000 Bitcoin that we discussed in yesterday's video? Well, maybe not. Let's have a look. AVAX. What's happening here? It's following Bitcoin's gravity. You can see it. It's so obvious in AVAX. But what about the relativity? Relativity is fascinating to apply. It can give you an idea of those under Bitcoin's gravity. Look at Matic, down 8%. Where Bitcoin is up 14%. Oh, Matic, get your act together. You need to go up. You need to coincide back with Bitcoin's gravity. And don't be at all surprised if it does that. What about Solana? Only up 1.2%. Bitcoin 14%. In the stock market, they say all gaps are filled. And that's not surprising because price is always moving in a wave. In the crypto market, all gravitational gaps are filled. Relatively speaking, let's continue. BUSD, that's a stable coin. What about DOT? DOT's up about 2.5% versus Bitcoin up 14%. Oh, DOT's not doing too well. What about Litecoin? It tends to get very, very light, up 11%, but Bitcoin is still dominating, up 14%. What about SHIB? Well, it's up about 7.5%, but over that period of time, Bitcoin is up 17%. What about Tron? Tron is up 1%. Bitcoin up nearly 15%. What about AVAX? Up 3%. And Bitcoin nearly 15%. So you can see this will give you an understanding of what is dramatically underperforming Bitcoin's gravity. We're looking at top projects here. This is not crypto alt number 20,001. Matic is currently number 9. Do we expect a snapback with Matic? You better believe it. Does that mean we go all in and more? Please never go all in and more. That's very just learning kind of stuff with the L plates on. We don't do that. We're professionals. We make sure that the direction is set and then we act. We can participate and always do your layers down. You don't know how the market is going to move. There's no such thing as a sure thing. But when it comes to probabilities, the probabilities can weight more in your favor. That means you're just more alert to the opportunity. For me, from a gravitational stance, from a relativity stance, Matic is looking really interesting. Yesterday's video on inversion was really well received. I love the fact that people are learning. That's what I'm all about. That's what Kate and I seek to achieve every single day, to give you an edge inside the markets. And that edge accumulates 7 days a week, 365 days a year. No days off for me and no days off for Kate. Sorry, honey. Thank you to everybody who commented in yesterday's video. It's so beautiful to see you all interacting. JT said the masterclass is super exciting and the daily videos are a perfect supplement for the course in my opinion. Thank you, CTKS family, for all your comments. I learn from all of you to become the best version of myself. That's just beautiful, JT. And what JT said is 100% correct. The daily video is a definite supplement to the masterclass. The crypto market changes so quickly, you need to be informed of what is happening. We have an incredible global family. I just want to let you know how much Kate and I appreciate all of you. Kate and I just love seeing everybody interact, sharing their knowledge, and just being friends. Steve and Mary Ellen, thank you so much for your kind words. Steve and Mary Ellen said, I used your methodology over the last year for nice gains in my 401 account as the S&P has come down. It truly does work, but takes daily commitment and dedication. Well done, my friends. This is what it's all about. If you think about any success you have in life, commitment and dedication is the foundation of success. Drahoslav said something fantastic. Would it be possible to look at financial cycle analysis, inverted yield curve, M2 money supply, and a bigger macro overview? Of course, my friend, we'd love to do that for you. Please just reach out and let us know how we can help you. That's why we're here. That's why we do this 7 days a week. Any edge that you get inside financial markets will help you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. And that's what drives Kate and myself to do these videos. We want to see you succeeding as much as humanly possible. Built to Spill had a really good comment. Atomic Habits, 1% improvements. They are the game changer. Positive excellence. It's not easy, but I'm grinding. Good on you, my friend. You're a champion. What is positive excellence? It's about creating a to-be list of all sorts of words that will take you to the top in any field that you're in, not just in terms of success, but also in terms of happiness, in terms of fulfillment, in terms of meaning, in terms of commitment, in terms of quality, in terms of everything. And yes, it's not easy, but it's absolutely required to get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2, the panic and the blame zones, to get into Zone 3 and especially into Zone 4, where you master fear. We have such an amazing global family. I love the fact in yesterday's video, everybody reached out and said where they're from. If you would like to do that, that's just so beautiful. We have such an incredible global family and you're a part of it because you're watching. And if you haven't commented before, please just reach out and say hi. We would love to hear from you. And you can just drop your country if you like as well. For all those actively learning, you're just awesome. That's what will make the difference. If you would like to get an 80% discount on the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, please reach out to the CTKS ambassadors. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And they can help you to get an incredible discount on the Masterclass. The links are in the description of this video. Have a fantastic weekend ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.